it seemed like, as that game went on, just guys couldn't get off the field. Were they doing anything different on third downs, or was it guys just not making plays with like they need?
A little bit of everything, Ira. The first drive was good. The second drive, we gave up a conversion. Had to make a fourth down stop on the goal line, and then from that point on, the run game get going a little bit, and the third downs, whether it was a chip or a screen or a missed tackle or a one-on-one conversion. I mean, there were a lot of different reasons for it. I go through every single one of them, and I just went through a couple of them right there quickly. But the last touchdown was just me trying to create a play, and didn't put our guys in the best position on the last one. But there were a bunch of them in between, and I thought we started with the right mindset, and I thought as the game wore on, the run game for them, they committed to it. I thought their quarterback did a good job of scrambling too. It was something I was concerned about because he did make a bunch of plays with his feet, and so just a lot of things piled on top of each other. And when the opportunities were there to make a few plays, we had our hands on 2 balls when they were in the air, and they came away with both of them. There was a fumble there on the goal line. That all those things, just you got to make at least one of them. You want to make all of them. And just third downs were definitely something from series 2 on that just showed up throughout the game.
Coach, you mentioned the run game. I think through the last 4 games, you guys have been up over 200 yards on the ground. Is there one or a couple of issues that you see consistently that's a problem in the run game, and how come you haven't seen any sort of improvement in that area?
Yeah, I mean, it's, obviously statistics are awful right now. Like when you say any improvement in the area, there's been games that I felt better about, but obviously last week wasn't good, and as the Miami game got going, that game wasn't good. And so, there are multitude of reasons. I went through some reasons last week. So if you want to talk about this specific game, is that this game?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, in this game, again, I go into it, I give credit to them. I think the backs, one of the better backs in the country, he did a great job. He has a lot of missed tackles forced, and unfortunately that happened to us as well. I thought we did a little bit better job in the A and B gaps. Not 100%, they got us moved a couple times, but I thought our fits were consistently better at linebacker. But sometimes, you do, there are double teams, they call them double teams for a reason. And we try to hang in there, and we try to do a better job with the backer fitting off those doubles. Sometimes we're better than others. It just seems like the ball is finding some space, and then, there's times that we're just not doing a good enough job in the secondary of tackling. And a lot of different reasons, and I'm trying to hit some of them right there. But when you go into the game, we say we need to stop the run game. 1, control the tempo. 2, which the tempo really never got to a point. It was mostly a huddle tempo from them, so that got crossed off. And I thought the quarterback scrambling was another thing that we had to contain, and we didn't do any of those. And the quarterback ended up being more accurate than I gave him credit for throughout the game.
You mentioned some of the tackling at the second level, and I know there's rules during the week of practice and how much you can hit. And is there anything more you can do to practice that or simulate that?
I mean, we've been creating live tackle drills with the DBs now for the last 4 or 5 weeks. We try to do it as much space as possible to force them to make those plays, and some of it's gotten better, some of it hasn't. And the thing in the back end, when you miss one, it's usually one-on-one. So when we played really good defense, we've made a lot of those one-on-ones, and when we haven't, and so is it the players, is it the technique, is it the coaching? And the answer is yes, right? And so I feel that we're trying to work it because I've changed tackle drills throughout the year this year. I mean, we've done live tackle drills against guys, and we're continually doing them. And the one missed tackle that KJ had was probably on the third down. I probably need to go back and making it a little bit more of a different situation in practice to get him to make that tackle more. And so you can overanalyze it a little bit as a coach, but that's our job, right? To analyze it, to apply it, to find different ways to make sure that he can make the play, because, you know, I believe in Kirk. I think he is getting better, but, you know, had that one miss on a big third down, and, you know, that's a huge play in the game. And the game didn't fall on that play, but, you know, each play is its own, and it creates momentum for them. And so I watched that play, and we're going to replicate that play in practice with another form of a drill.
Corey? Adam, when you guys finally cut it to 21-11, the offense scored a touchdown, then immediately the next play is I think a 43-yard run with a horse collar on top of it. What happened on that play, and just overall with this season? How much does that just seem to happen when you guys, maybe if you've even played well on defense for most of the game, your offense finally scores and then, there it goes again.
Yeah.
How frustrating has that been all season, and then what specifically happened on that play?
Very frustrating. Can't breathe. And so, what happened on that play? It's a crack replace. You know, the back I mean, we blitz it. We get a bunch of people in that place where the ball is going to get run. The back makes a great cut. Usually, backs cut that thing 90 degrees, and your corner puts his foot in the ground and works it and tackles it or races out of bounds for 2 or 3 yards. That one, the back makes a great cut, and he stays vertical almost the entire play, and stays in great speed and just outruns the angle. And, you know, just shouldn't, you know, I got, you know, talking to Pat Surtain, who's been in that position himself, you know, so I mean, I feel really comfortable with his ability to coach that too. And just in the moment, you know, it created that, but felt good about what we were trying to do in that moment. And the safety stepped down pretty aggressively, and the receiver read it, and he cracked it, and, you know, it's a crack replace play, you know, and the back did a good job of seeing it and making the right cut and keeping speed around the corner, you know. And obviously the horse collar, I mean, you're coaching those because those are because you're trying to get the guy down, right? And so that's number one. Then how you get them down is 1A, and obviously we can't grab back there and can't finish like that.
Chris?
What are the challenges of Notre Dame's offense, and how physical are they up front? How much does FSU have to counter that?
You know, they're good enough on offense, you know, to be where they're at in this season. You know, they've really relied on, you know, that quarterback, you know, familiar with the play caller. You know, they hired Coach Denbrock from LSU, so we competed against him all the way back to when he was at Cincinnati. And, you know, but they've relied, I mean, they've good backs, and, you know, the quarterback is carrying the load. I think he's got 11 rushing touchdowns, you know, so I'm not sure where that sits nationally, but I would assume it's pretty high for a good quarterback to have more rushing touchdowns than throwing touchdowns on a good team. It's probably not a usual statistic, but that's how they decided to play their offense this year. And, you know, obviously they had one speed bump early in the year against Northern Illinois, but, you know, from that Texas A&M game all the way through the Navy one, you know, they've been executing when they need to on offense.
You know, Corey mentioned that the big run after the touchdown that you guys had. There was that similar one against Clemson where you guys scored a touchdown and pulled off a ran big one, and against Duke as well. So that's 3 of those. Is there a through line to those 3 plays, or is it just kind of a coincidental aspect of it?
You mean the play after our offense scores?
Correct, yeah.
You know, I mean, I'll go back and look and try to, when our offense scores, what they're going to run after that. I mean, you know, they were just independent plays. You know, I get the momentum question. You know, I get that one. You know, and you know, just poor job. You know.
Jordan?
Following up on the question about physicality, Coach Norvell said he wasn't 100% happy with that department. Just how did you evaluate your team's physicality and effort throughout the game against UNC?
Yeah, I think anytime you give up 30 points, there are a lot of reasons that you don't play well, right? You know, I'm sure there's been times in my career that maybe we've given up 30 and you felt really good about the effort and physicality, but probably not much. And you know, I thought early in the game, I thought we showed up the right way. You know, as that game wears on, you know, and they kept feeding the run game, I think there were times that we could have been much better. You know, and that's my job to create that. You know, and there are some plays out there that are obviously unacceptable. And, you know, there are unacceptable plays when a team scores. You never want to allow that, but how it goes down is still important. And so those are the things that we got to make sure that we address and either replace or correct.
We'll do a couple more, Ira.
Be a different kind of question. It's more philosophical. But you know, when a situation happens in a game where a player, you know, nobody wants your worst moments to be on national TV with, you know, commentators just, you know, making comments about you making a business decision or things like that. When players have moments like that, what can coaches do for them? Because, you know, not letting them know that that play doesn't need to define them, that they can make the play next time, and just how do you handle those situations when they're magnified more so than a misrun bit or something like that?
Well, when you come to Florida State, you know, you have to want that, not the criticism, right? But you can't want to play and compete at a school like Florida State and hope for all the attention and all the accolades without taking any of the downside with it, right? You need, I mean, that's part of the business. You're going to get that in anything. You know, the higher profile, the more fame, but the more criticism. So I think that's accepted. You need to understand that, and you can't want the positive, but not deal with the negative. I watch TV games to feel tempo and things of that nature for the opponents. I usually don't go back and watch ours until the end of the year, and then I usually use them because there's different video angles to teach off of, you know, less the commentary. But you know, there's a lot of, in this business, you know, there's a lot of commentators that you deal with all the time in a good way, and you develop good relationships. So, you know, they're asking you questions and constantly, and but if somebody's receiving criticism on our team, and it could just be about socially, whatever it all is. I mean, that's a job of a coach too, right? Is to teach them how to tackle in open space, but also how to rebound from things that maybe they're not proud about. You know, and one action doesn't define you as a person for the rest of your life. But if those actions continue to happen, obviously then we're still in the business of production. You know, so you've got to, for us as coaches, you're constantly trying to support, but support doesn't always equal playing time, right? And so we're just, you know, trying to help be there for everybody in the program to make sure we're helping them along their journey, but their journey affects our journey. And we got to make sure those things line up.
Go to Jordan for the last one.
Coach, just really quickly, Fentrell only played 11 snaps on Saturday against Lower South in the season. Was that a coach decision, or was he just banged up?
Yeah, I mean, he couldn't continue, you know, so we had to get Quinn in there more, and then Jabril Rawls played a good amount. So hopefully we'll have Fenn back here quickly. He's been pretty reliable for us, but yeah, he only played the first 2 series.
Okay, thanks.